Oh, shit. Judah Nazar, you done fucked up now. You better run your ass up out of town, Judah Nazar. You better haul ass, Judah Nazar. Because when the bees start stinging, there ain't no ducking and dodging from me, boy. Shit. I'm the Killah B, the goddamn witch finder general. If you got a motherfucking witch, I'll burn they motherfucking asses up. And goddamn, I got a show for y'all today. Exposing Judah Nazar's bullshit ass motherfucking scholarship, goddammit.
Just that, I'm gonna put you on stage. Why don't you do this part right here?
Let's go!
One more time here.
Which part?
Just take that right there. Try to act like my man takes my feet right here. Do this for me one more time.
It's your brother Josh. Welcome y'all to the
Peace to Josh! Subtract Bazaar!
Take time away and travel your galaxy. Cut off positions you intend to take. When you return in tragedy, weaken the wicked with a well-placed stone. No need to fortify, might have been absorbed your home. Your zone, your clones, where you
I'm doing the work, y'all!
And your robots who appear in my likeness. All praise to his highness. Melt you King Midas, assemble troops like Titus. Holding them like dust. All rust is reformed into the dust to which sons are born. So ill your temple liquefies. Mind the gym, watch love you dematerialize. Spiritualize the earth to crush flatbreads. Locks of death is what the crap says. They don't know how old they got con to shaving short. Oh, what a saving sport. Word into your dimension sport. Come find out why I'm TK. Telekinesis thesis reaches out in this way. The truth and the life in my sight. Build altars and view star light. Demolish altars who wanna fight. Then bow before my lock as a dot. He warned me of sorcerer cops who hear chop and sell poison crops. Watch, I kill my own self before the heart. My degree is enterprise chart. Enter eyes like gleam off a sword. Set on fire, you're my Ali Lord. Sun Tzu gave me that. Then plundered the knot over ravines, down the creek. Horses and streams, Nordic me has a woolly coat. Saw Jab fight, talking to the door, bro. Too many drown and looks loose hope. I realize I'm sober. My self-known is a soldier. Who told me he is the torch, smolder. And reap the field and do it backwards. That is, reap the field and smolder. The torch is he who told. Y'all crash like Steve McQueen. Elizabeth on your money team. Killer priests traverse dreams. Sniper warnings of killer bees. Oh, about that situation. Switching hand placement. Grandma, she give thanks and tell you about Joseph. Told them to wait outside of this.
Wait your ass outside.
Business sharing as the beach selling carrot. Cats didn't listen when I told them I prepare it. Roots of the swift chariot, Elisha marriage, chock full of despair. And when Job returned, he dipped water and burned my time frames like dark waters. That stab box hands and joiners, corners at the board show examples to the students. Orcas in the horse forced to swim through sewage. Goddamn, your words are challenging. Wearing gifts you was lavishing, looking dashing as the crowd's grabbing. Rope chains, bangles, and body kicks. Hoodies with rose gold sips. Woolly butter, leather matching gloves. Women on the tether cause she loves. Bless y'all who can make the journey. Guard and glory, ask your attorney. Servants with broke heads on journeys. Youth and pre-sales learning. Desire burning as elders churning. Then she give you a bit to taste. See how the hard work put a shine to your face. Far from the wrath of grapes. Or the farcy hate. Or the obscene face. End up in a mean G place. From heights if you were major gift. Y'all more confused than fans of Taylor Swift. Time to time, take a split.
Yes, they is.
You know, when I'm found relaxed in a Gondor bungalow. Sisters, bros, no.
I don't believe these people. They fighting on me after all the minutes I done gave them. You know what I'm saying?
Look, Sneaker Genius, we're over here trying to rehearse.
Rehearse?
Yes.
Why don't you put a little rap in it?
Yeah, man, it's your boy Killah B, the goddamn witch finder, motherfucking general, goddamn it. You got a witch, I'll burn your ass up. And make sure you wipe your goddamn feet before you come up in my house. Because I ain't want none of that goddamn bullshit over here. Shit, I'm going to show my ass today, boy. You best believe it. You thought I showed my ass yesterday. I'm going to show my ass today. You never... You done fucked up, old boy. Even got your old team like, goddamn, nigga made a critical error. Goddamn right you did, motherfucker. Fucking stupid motherfucker. The goddamn Rameses II was preserved with salt water. They ain't had to mummify him, Judah. Damn. We gonna show you today this how stupid this motherfucker is and how stupid you motherfuckers is for not catching it and not saying nothing about it. I'm the goddamn witchfinder general. I burned the motherfucking shit down. And you're gonna see that today. So I'm gonna get right on into it. I'm gonna get right on into this motherfucker. You know, I'm gonna do my commentary. It's gonna be a clip from the Solar Vision Debate League, right? Judah came on himself all messed up, you know, probably, you know, geeked up on something. And we're gonna tell that he's geeked up on something. It's gonna be obvious. It's gonna be really obvious. Then we're gonna see after the shit wear off. But we're gonna see where his mental illness kicks in and he's still fucked up. Even though when he off the shit. So let's get right into this motherfucker. Killah B, the goddamn whisper in the general. Peace to Chris. Peace to Chris Harris. Y'all make sure you go check out his channel, Andreas Harris. Let's go.
Both of you. What I want.
Question on the Lord.
Man, I'm gonna get you the fuck out of here, and I'm gonna get that nigga the fuck out of here.
Why didn't Ramses II
These niggas trying to get confusion going to not answer no question.
die?
What are you talking about?
Ramses II.
Hold on a second. For y'all motherfuckers forget, make sure y'all hit that goddamn like button. Hit that if you ain't a subscriber to the goddamn Witchfinder General. Hit that goddamn subscribe button and don't forget that goddamn bell.
In the book, the Bible says all the firstborn sons of the Egyptians died. You
Who is
said
Ramses' firstborn son?
you said Ramses.
Who is he? You're lying. He had 13 kids. Mertapah is still a second wife. She don't know what the fuck you're talking about. When did Mertapah rule, man? When did they rule? When did they rule, Chris? Look at you, you lost already, nigga. You lost already. Hey, Ramses didn't have 13 kids? Yes or no?
It doesn't matter how many.
Yes or no?
Yes
or no, nigga? Yes or no? Yes or no?
He had 13 kids.
Yes or no, nigga?
Did
Rameses II had 13 kids.
As we can see here, Judah Nazareth doesn't want the truth to come out. So what Judah Nazareth does is basically like a mind hack on you stupid, slow motherfuckers out there. It's a mind hack. So what he'll do is create such an uproar and confusion. And if you go to the video, you'll hear, I don't know if it's in the clip or not, but Rob Rack would say that it does the audience a disservice because you can't hear anything with him talking that way. So what it does, it makes your mind totally block out everything that's being said and just like static. So you won't pick up on anything that's being said. And it's actually inaudible and unrecognizable to your ears. This almost how we did the video with Booger Bear saying the goddamn mountains were fucking giants that were fossilized. when actuality, it's like when you look at it, like you're looking at the cloud and it looks like a unicorn or it looks like a fucking teddy bear. It's your eye and your mind working together to help put together the picture of what you're actually looking at if you can't describe it right offhand. Almost like you're walking down the street in the dark and you see a trash bag out on the sidewalk. Down the block, it might look like a guy bending over changing his tire. But when you get closer, you see that it's just a garbage bag. Same thing. But it's the same thing, but what he's doing it with your ears. Let's continue.
y'all see how he doesn't want to answer the questions? He's
You know, I'm answering your question. Rameses II.
Let's read.
You said the firstborn child. I said that wasn't his firstborn child. He had 13 children. You're trying to manipulate.
Which is actually wrong. He had way more than 13 children. Some sources said up to 50 up to 100 children Ramses II had.
opinion of it, nigga, and I'm not gonna let you do that. You're kidding, nigga. You're kidding.
Who was his firstborn son?
I don't know who the firstborn. You neither do you.
Okay, Mernet
Who was his firstborn son?
Mernet Patah succeeded to the throne.
Okay.
Went back into Canaan.
Yeah, that was his son from his second wife. Did you know that, Chris?
Matter. It's the seed.
It doesn't matter. So, did you know that, Chris, I know you're scared, nigga. I know you're scared. And you should be. That's what you're afraid to do. You're just scared.
Okay.
You should not think he's going to help you. He's not going to help you. Then, how did he die? How did he die, Chris? 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 Talking food is not going to help you. How did he die? You need to answer it. I said, how did he die? How did he die, Chris? Now, get your Google on. Because you don't know kill it. Okay, now you and your mom can get your girlfriend on so I can beat her ass. Okay? Hey, bitch, I'm gonna your mom so I can ask you the same question. Because he's Googling us and shit right now because he don't know. Oh, yo, you niggas quiet now. Exactly. Get outside back on here.
Sorry about that. Had some technical difficulties real quick. Get right back on it. Let's see. We didn't fuck up the rest of this shit.
Get outside back on here.
As you see, what happened is Chris is trying to answer the question, but Judah doesn't want the answer to come out. But we're going to see what happens here.
Mernet Patah was his firstborn son. Okay, I'm going to read the historical narrative.
I said,
listen, he said prove it. Chris said, okay. I'm going to read the historical narrative. So basically, Chris is telling the story, how it goes, right? Judah doesn't want him to say it now, right? Now, Menephtah was not his first son. He had many sons before him. But Menephtah was the one that took the throne. And we're going to get into that firstborn son. But let's listen.
Now you're saying, prove it.
Yeah, that's what you got to tell me. That's on you. Prove it.
Same thing
Prove it.
with the Bible. We prove it with history. I'm going to
prove it. Okay, well, prove it.
Do you want to debate this?
Do you want to do what?
Well, he said, do you want to debate this, right? Listen. God damn it. Shit lagging. Give me 1 second. Oh, okay. This is some fuck shit. Fuck. Okay, I'm just gonna start this bitch over.
You want to debate this, yes or no?
Do it. You
want to debate it?
As you can see here, Judah doesn't want to debate this topic. Right? So we're going to see what goes on. While that's loading, I'm going to do this. Okay? Let me get my screen share up here. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to your boy. I told Judah now as a runner. This is tapes number 14, goddammit. All right. Okay. Here we go. See the screen here. Now, tear Judah Nazareth's ass up today. Right? That's old Rameses II right there. Fucked up today, Judah Nazareth. Where's my firstborn? Goddamn. All right, Pharaoh's firstborn son. So y'all can see it there. Okay. Now, with the plagues that supposedly killed Pharaoh's firstborn son, right? And we know his firstborn son as, make sure y'all can see this. One second here. Y'all run from me. Y'all run from me. Still, we got this up. Fuck you. That's right. Beast of Shamiyan. Admiral Shamiyan. All right, here we go. Now, his firstborn son, as we can see here, that his firstborn son is Amun Her Kepesheth. Amun Her Kepesheth. However you probably pronounce it, right? Now, we're going to see what happened to him, how he died. We're going to go through this quick. Now, I gave y'all the name. Make sure y'all go and research it yourself, right? Now, some biblical scholars claim that Rameses II was the real-life villain of the Exodus story, whose firstborn son was killed by the 10th and final plague sent down by the God of Israel, right? Could the skull shed light on the historical truth of the biblical story? The Exodus cover story says merely that God smote the firstborn son of the Egyptians, as well as the firstborn calves of the cattle. Weeks lay out in less miraculous but no less deadly scenarios for Amun Her Kepesheth's untimely death. Like the biblical firstborn, Amun Her Kepesheth did not survive his father, right? So he died before his father. He died in his 40s and 50s after participating in a number of Ramesses' military campaigns as an army general and an overseer of the Chariots. So basically like their cavalry, right? The guys on the Chariots. Turning to the evidence from the KV5 complex, Weeks, which is the person, the scientist, note that the skull's deep fracture is evidence of a violent, fatal wound, most likely delivered by a mace, the preferred weapon of war in Ramses' time. It's entirely possible that his wife hit him over the head, or he got out of control at a bar. But I think that the battlefield scenario makes more sense given the fact that Amun Her Kepesheth, I'm just going to say his firstborn son, was closely affiliated with the military. Weeks said this individual probably was killed on battlefield and then brought back to Luxor for burial in the Valley of the Kings. All of these things, again, suggest that it's very well could be the firstborn son, or certainly one of the principal sons of the pharaoh. right? Could genetics analysis nail down the identification behind that? Not at present, week 7. Expert has found that DNA within the mummified remains is too damaged to be used for tracing familial relationships, right? We think it's gone about as far as we can go at this point. It's an entire DNA testing process, right? So now, you know that the man was killed, right? Not by the Holy Ghost, but by another man, right? Now, since we got that out of the way, let's continue.
Because you're looking shit.
He said he's gonna set it up. Set it up.
See, now, Judas, he's saying to set up the debate, right? Now, we know that Menephtah, right, was the reigning. He was the up and coming pharaoh after Rameses' death, right?
About topics, and I don't do that. So
Now Judas says that he doesn't do it. I don't do topics like this. Now he's running once Chris agreed to do the debate.
It says about how Ramses II died. He suffered from problems, severe arthritis and hardening of the arteries, and most likely died from old age or heart failure.
So then he's
very true. So all you have to do is look this up. Everybody will tell you. The scientists have done the study. He had arthritis. And he had a hardened artery, so it, I forgot the name of the word. But basically, it was arthritis. The man was 96 years old. Now, according to the scriptures, the pharaoh got in his goddamn chariot. A 96-year-old man with arthritis. Gonna get his ass in a chariot and go after Moses and the goddamn Israelites. Now, let's think about this. They said that he was in the front of the battlefield. He was in front of the army, leading the army after Moses. A 96-year-old man with arthritis. What 96-year-old nigga is shit? You ever know hop up on some shit? And if you ever seen one of these chariots, it's like riding in a phone booth with 2 bicycle wheels with no tires. They didn't have inflated wheels, so like the suspension on these shits was ridiculous. Know what I'm saying? No suspension. So this little cart, like smaller than a fucking phone booth, driven by a crazy ass horse, running after the goddamn Moses and the people. Right? Let's continue.
the 5 accidents now, is it?
You're the one that said
But you
that.
have 5 accidents, yes I know.
Now listen, Chris saying you're the one that said it. Now listen to Judas mind fuck, right?
So he was just following the exodus.
I said, he's caught in the wrong way. Look at you, saying niggas get caught in the wrong way. I said, well, that he did. He said that, he brought him up. He
He
died
said he was the second of the pharaoh of the exodus.
I said that.
Yeah.
Now he said he didn't. Now he's saying he did. Rameses II is the pharaoh of the exorcist. The audio I know is probably going to be crazy on the playback, so I'm trying to keep it low so you guys can actually somewhat hear it. Because Judah's doing this on purpose, so it's in audio.
Yeah.
Now I want y'all to notice also that Nagy Springfield is also in here, not saying one word.
Yeah.
He died of old age.
No, he didn't. He's like, goddamn Cairo Museum.
He said no, he didn't. He's in the goddamn Cairo Museum.
In Egypt. Down, see? You're dumb. You know what's fucking
So if he's in a fucking, it's because he's in a museum, that means he didn't die of old age.
There's a goddamn doctor back there who wrote a book on the corpse. He died from drowning. What the fuck are you talking about?
Now, keep a note of this. Judah said that he died from drowning. Let's continue now. He said that he died from drowning.
He was found in the Valley of the Kings. What the fuck are you talking about?
Nigga, they had fish out of the water. They don't put him in the Valley of Kings.
So he lived. He 96
So
Oh,
it's
how did he die from drowning
Right.
if he lived to be 96 years old?
He died from drowning.
At 96 years old?
He's in the Cairo Museum.
Where does it say in the
What now? What? See, this is the mind fuck. What does him being in the Cairo Museum have to do with his death? Absolutely nothing. If you pay attention to Judah, if you go to any one of Judah's videos where he's talking to someone, he does the same thing. What he does is jumps around his subjects. So he know he can't win this. So what he'll do, he'll say something and then try to lead you into a different conversation. So that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to lead you into a different conversation to talk about the goddamn museum. And watch, he can try other tactics too, but let's listen. Let's listen.
It was Ramses.
It doesn't say his name.
Oh, well, he was.
See? Look, watch.
He's 6 years old.
But you're more master of what man says Rameses II. The Egypt was the master teacher.
I just run to the white man and speak.
But that's where you get your evolution from. Can you speak ancient Egyptian?
Now, if he says Rameses II is the pharaoh of the Exodus, now he just said that the description doesn't say who the pharaoh was, so where did he get his source that it was Rameses II? Besides a white man. Right? And we're going to see later on where he used a white man reference. Right? Let me get something real quick. Look, check this out. Right? We don't need to find the pharaoh's body to answer this question. All we need to do is establish when and if these events occurred, and we will know the name of the pharaoh, as we already know approximately when each pharaoh reigned during the late Bronze Age. So during the relevant periods of the pharaoh's reign in Egypt, right? These are all the dates, right? Here's Ramses II right here. 1279 to 1213, right? 1 Kings 6 tells us Exodus occurred 480 years before the fourth year of King Solomon's reign, which is based on biblical chronology, would mean that Exodus took place approximately 1440 BCE, right? However, the date is entirely impossible because the Armana letters tell us conclusively that the Canaanite petty kings still ruled their cities later than 1350 BC under the total Egyptian domination. Not only had they not been defeated by the Israelites, anyone fleeing from Egypt, anyone fleeing from Egypt would be fleeing to an area controlled by Egyptian army and Egyptian allies. So these people will be fleeing Egypt, going to a place that's already ran by the Egyptian army and their allies. Let's read on. The reference of the city of Ramses, named after Ramses II, means that any date before, say, 1250, right, is not possible. The Menatef, which was his son Stele, does mention Menatef and the Israelites, but only in the context of Menatef sweeping through the Canaanite region and defeating Canaanite cities and wiping out he thought the Israelite people he discovered there. Israel is laid waste and the seed is not. This stele tells us three important facts. By the late 13th century, Canaanites still occupied their cities. Israelites were already present in the region, but appeared not to have any significant cities. On this evidence, Ramses II is the only pharaoh who would fit the biblical narrative, because at least the city of Ramses existed, and because the Maranatha stele seems to exclude Maranatha. However, we know that Ramses II died as a very old man and was mummified, so could not have been the pharaoh who pursued the Israelites and was drowned in the sea. Right? That's about all I need to get on that. Now I'll read the rest of it. Why can't we so readily rule out all Egyptian pharaohs in late Bronze Age? when the Bible is so clear that the pharaoh and his army pursued the Israelites to his death? We should look at the archaeological records to see whether these events really happened. And the first thing we find that there is no direct or indirect reference to the Egyptian records, to the Israelites, or to Moses. We then find convincing evidence that there was no conquest of Canaanite cities by the invading Israelites, right? A distinguished Israeli archaeologist, Mr. Frankenstein, y'all know about him, says that 90%, 90% of scholars believe there was no exodus from Egypt as described in the Bible. With no exodus, therefore no Moses. We do not need to find any pharaoh out of the story, right? Boom. All right, we can get to that. Not yet, though. We can get to that. Not yet, though. Right? All right, we can get to that. Not yet, though. Right? Okay. All right, let's continue.
Can you speak ancient Egyptian?
Now Judah is saying, do you speak ancient Egyptian? Now what the fuck does that has to do with the topic that they're talking about? Judah wants them to get off topic.
Ancient Egyptian. Okay, shut the fuck up. Yeah, I speak the language of my ancestors. Do you speak the language of yours?
You speak the language of the Aramaic of the Armenians.
Thank you, Chris.
Armenians.
No Hebrew.
Hebrew. Hebrew was a Greek word. I mean, Hebrew was a Greek word. I mean,
Ain't no such thing as Yahweh God language.
that's what it says in my Torah. That's what it says in my Torah. But you wouldn't know that because you can't read my language. You can't even read ancient Egyptian.
Neither can you, Judah.
You speak in ancient Egyptian.
You speak
In ancient Egyptian.
See how quick Judah got up off of that? And start up another argument? What he'll do, he'll set the stage, call you out your name to get you mad, and to answer what he just said, to take you way off that topic.
Syrian
Talk to
language.
ancient Egyptian, Chris.
See?
Talk to ancient Egyptian, Chris.
Now, before this, there was a brother that came on that did speak ancient Egyptian, that did know how to count to 10. And Judah didn't want to hear him say it.
And so how was Ramses the pharaoh of the Exodus, and he marched and he had campaigns going into Canaan? Where's that in the Bible?
That's one of his sons, but that's what talk.
Okay, so if y'all were in the land, how did the Nefertari go right back over there and conquer Canaan?
How can you conquer something that's already occupied?
What do they know? Egyptians always lie.
He did that in the 19th century.
He ain't do shit. Egypt went down and
Ramses went into Canaan.
Now, does this person sound like he's sober? Does it sound like he's drunk? Now, he's going pretty fast. He's pretty revved up.
Ramses marched his armies into Canaan in 1275.
You're caught in a lie, and now you're trying to buffer. Yeah, that's right, because you're lying to the people. That's all you guys do is lie to your own people if you're even black.
All right, so hold on. Why you trying to talk over the information, bro? Ramses II.
See, now, he said that you guys not even black, and that you're lying, and all types of shit. But we're going to see lying today.
All right, but Ramses II. Hold on, bro. All you gotta do is Ramses II. Hey, for everyone listening, Ramses II marched his campaigns into Canaan in 1275 BC, bro. He went into Canaan, bro. So how the hell? Hold on, so if he's the pharaoh of the Exodus, he lived in that.
He's caught.
Hold on, bro. He lived in that.
Come on, man. Stop the fuck shit.
Calm down, bro. Everybody else on here knows information.
I have more information.
Well, I'm giving you information right now. How old was Ramses II when he died? He was 96. That's the history. Because they know how long he reigned. He's one of the longest reigning pharaohs.
It's all on the walls, bro. That's it. Like Admiral Shabian said, this nigga here is strawberry.
The records. Records written on the walls, bro. Oh my God, bro.
Okay, so you have heretics then, yes? You have heretics? Okay, so you have heretics then. So do you have heretics?
Yeah, this is from.
Now, how did he go to can you read hieroglyphics?
All I gotta do.
How do he know that Ramses II was the pharaoh of the Exodus? Judah admitted that he was the pharaoh of the Exodus.
I'll read it. Let me tell you what I'm. Let me tell you. Right, exactly.
See that? He know Rob not backing him up. See? Rob supposed to be backing him up because him and Judah got a little agreement going on. See, Rob supposed to be back, but Rob can't do nothing for him right now. He can't do nothing for him. Because Rob Rock himself doesn't even understand Judah's techniques.
Everybody, now y'all know why you do all this, bro. I'm gonna tell you what I'm reading from. All you gotta do is give us your source. I'm reading from the ancient cycles. City control, bro. You're presenting information, man.
See that? He ran.
He said he was the pharaoh, and then when we asked him about it, he started yelling and yelling. He likes to ask irrelevant questions to the topic.
Exactly. Can you count the 10 Egyptian? So anyway, y'all.
Hold on. Then he tried to sit up here and say, what language do you speak, as if we can't read. Nigga, you read in translation like everybody else is reading translation. But like I said, Judith, if you want to debate Ramses II, I would love to debate you on that. Because once again, it's not us, me Lex, that's lying. It's you that's lying this time. And the
Man, he didn't want to.
Here, you got nervous, flat out, and you ran. And I didn't even yell at you this time.
Yeah, nobody.
As you can see, no one got irate but Judah Nazareth. And who left? Judah Nazareth left, right? Now, we're going to hear Judah Nazareth when he comes back about 4 hours later on the same live stream. I don't know why they be streaming for like 6 hours. That shit crazy. But I caught it. Killer B. The goddamn sniper, the goddamn witch fighter general, you got a witch. You best believe I'll burn their asses up, motherfucker. All right, that's all we need to do on that part. So we got that part out the way. Close that bad boy up right there. Okay. Now we can get into something a little more heavy, right? All right, no. Not yet. Here
Everybody, not everybody, but his little circle, they get mad. Kick him off. Why do you think these dudes get all quiet and scared when I come around? Because they know that I have information, they don't have nothing.
Join the battle,
Nothing
y'all.
wrong. There's nothing for me.
See, they ain't
So,
got no information, got nothing for you, but we gonna see today, homeboy.
Okay, well, finally.
And before I start, I found all this shit in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Usually it's 5 minutes. But I already knew most of it, and most of the shit didn't make no sense. But I wanted to get something together so I could show you people, right? And fact check me. Let me know if I'm wrong. Because I know you Hebrew Israelites are going to be like, you a bitch. You gay. You a bitch. I know that's coming, but guess what? What else ain't coming? Your debunking of what I'm talking about. That's what's not going to come. I can hear plenty of bitches and you gay. Let's go.
Using that comedic nonsense. I'm like, and I asked him a simple question. I said, how long is the solar and lunar Israelite year? I expected this dude to, answer. We started talking about...
Look at Judy Nazareth running on that bike, goddammit. You run, Judy Nazareth.
I said, can you count to 10 in ancient Egyptian language? He started looking up words. And
which is a lie. You go back to the video, the man starts to say, starts to count to 10 in ancient Egyptian, right? And Judah talks right over him, like he wasn't saying nothing. Can you talk? Can you say it? Count to 10? The man trying to count to 10. Can you talk to... Let's continue.
I'll be fast, and then he just drops off and runs. And then he comes back on when I need. And I'm like, whoa, you don't understand that, that we're the only people that shit on the people who are, just trying to do the best for us. It's crazy. Muslims would never, Arabs would never shit on their top scholar.
Stop right there. He says Muslims and Arabs would never shit on their top scholar. Nigga, you is not no goddamn top scholar. You're not even a scholar. Scholars have fucking articles written in journals, approved by their peers. Do you have anything written in a journal? A scholarly journal, Judah? No. Scholars have books. Do you have any books, Judah? No. Do you have any credentials? Judah, do you have a degree in your field, Judah? No. So how are you talking about you a scholar, nigga? Let's go.
Our people try to put down the best people and upraise people who ain't shit. That shit's crazy. They're making us look crazy.
We about to see who look crazy. We got another one on here too, where the video's gonna be following shit, exposing her dumb ass shit too.
Wait, hold up. Oh, he said Chris knew that Rameses the second son lived. Wait. Here, let me put it up here, because Chris knew that Rameses the second son lived, and you said Rameses was the pharaoh of the Exodus. Cut you off at the knees.
Right? No. Let me answer the guy back who named himself after a monkey. Kofi means monkey. 1. I said Rameses 2.
Let's stop right there. Kofi does not. This man has an African name. Kofi in any African language does not mean monkey. Kofi Annan Kofi Annan is that man. I forgot what he is. Right? But Kofi in Hebrew supposedly means monkey in the clouds, right? Which Kofi, what part? Say that in the Yahweh Daf language, Judah. I want to hear Kofi in the Yahweh Daf language. How do you say Kofi in Yahweh Daf? Chris make sure y'all go to Chris Harris channel, Andres Harris, and check out this video where he smashes the Hebrew language and how most of the language that spoke was made up by one man. It was just freestyle.
Rameses II. You see how these guys are change up the narrative? I said Rameses II is the pharaoh of the Exodus. These guys said, well, it's Maratapata. And I'm like, bruh.
Nope. That nigga didn't say that. We just heard the shit. He did not say that. You see how Judah sit there and lie now? 4 hours later, for the people that's tuning in, he got to set the stage that he won and and he know what he talking about. Everybody else a bunch of weirdo gays and all types of crazy shit, right? Let's go.
That guy was like one of his like 13 kids. He was from a second wife. He died as an old man. He didn't die in the Exodus in a flood.
He did. Well, back that motherfucker up. Where we at? 4:22. Oh, the timestamp of this, so you guys can go back, is the 4th hour, and I started this at 4th hour and 20th minute for this. I forgot to get what was the first part, but it's early on in the video. This is 4 hours into that post debate show that Rob Rack did. All right, so let me get something. But Kofi said Chris knew that Rameses II son lived, and you said Ramses was the pharaoh of the Exodus. Cut you off at the knees. Okay, all right, let's go.
Pharaoh of the Exodus. Cut you off at the knees.
Right, no. Let me answer the guy back who named himself after a monkey. Kofi means monkey. 1, I said Ramses 2. Rameses II. You see how these guys are change up their narrative? I said Rameses II is the pharaoh of the Exodus. These guys said, well, it's Maratapata. And I'm like, bruh, that guy was like one of his like 13 kids. He was from a second wife. He died as an old man. He didn't die in the Exodus in a flood. Rameses II was in a museum in Cairo. People go visit his body. Thousands every year. So, and there's a book by a white French medical doctor who wrote a book on the pharaoh and converted to Islam because the Quran talks about this pharaoh body being preserved a lot, being preserved, not in a mummy form, but being preserved. And it's in.
All right, stop right there. He's talking about this scientist, right? That wrote this book. I got the motherfucker right in front of me, right? And he's saying that his body, the Quran says that his body was preserved, right? We need to see what this book says now.
Rameses II. Oh, the doctor's name is Dr. Marcus Pickle, if I'm not mistaken. Like Bucaille. And his book is called The Torah, the Bible, the Quran, and Modern Science, or something like that.
Yep, the Bible, the Quran, and science.
So, you know
that's
what I'm saying?
the name of the book. The Torah, the Quran, the Bible, and science. That's the name of the book. The guy has a French name. I'll let you know when I get into this.
These guys are just like finding one little article and then trying to like run and act like they can like just. I got like tons and tons of other run circles around these dudes.
Sure.
Set that debate up. Do that.
Kofi said, and they found him in the Valley of Kings. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I didn't say they found him in the river. He was preserved. His body was preserved. He's not a mummy. And they put him in the Valley of Kings with the rest of them.
Right? Now, Judah said that he drowned, right? Then he said that they didn't find him in the river. If you drown, nigga, you dead. And how they gonna get you out of the river if they didn't find your ass? See how stupid it is? You see how stupid this dude talk? Now, let's get to this over here now. This is the book. I'm not playing games today. This is the book right here. Found it right online. Right? And we're gonna get, oh shit, I went right by it. God damn. Okay, what is it? Fuck. Alright, here we go, right here. See if I can enlarge it here. See it a little better. Oh, I need to switch over here. There we go. All right, that should be good. Right? This is from the book here. The Jews escaped. Pharaoh perished, but his body was found. Right? A very important detail not mentioned in biblical narration. Now, the Bible doesn't say anything about the Pharaoh being found, right? It says that the water collapsed on a monkey ass, right? But when you get to the Quran somehow, some way, knows what happens to Pharaoh's body. Somehow, some way. Thousands of years later. Right? Surah 10, verse 90 to 92. God is speaking. We took the children of Israel across the sea. Pharaoh with his host pursued them in rebellion, in hostility, till. Shit, I just noticed I fucked up. I missed my place for the second part of this. When the fact of his drowning overtook him, he said, I believe there is no God except the God in whom the children of Israel believe. I am those who submit themselves to him. God said, what? Now, thou hast rebelled and caused the depravity, that this day we save thee in thy body, so that thou mayest be assigned to those who come after me. But verily, many among mankind are heedless to our signs, right? This passage requires 2 points to explain. The spirit of rebellion, hostility referred to is to be understood in terms of Moses' attempt to persuade the Pharaoh. The rescue of Pharaoh refers to his corpse because it is stated quite clearly in verse 98, Surah 11, that Pharaoh and his followers have been condemned to damnation. Surah 11, verse 98. Pharaoh will go before his people in the day of resurrection and lead them to fire. For those facts which can be checked for historical, geographical, and archaeological data, therefore, it should be noted that the Quranic and biblical narrative differ from following, right? The absence of the names, all that shit. Absence the reference to the death of Pharaoh during Moses' reign. Okay, let me see if I can find the thing that I highlighted. Screwed up. Go check out this book yourself. Hey, if I'm lying, I'm flying, goddamn. Right? Come on now. I think I'm coming up on it now. All right. Now take note of this, right? Psalms 136, verse 15 gives thanks to God who overthrew Pharaoh and his host in the sea of rushes, right? Remember that, the sea of rushes. And what's a rush? A rush is a weed, is a reed. Exodus 14, 28, 29. The waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the hosts of Pharaoh who had followed them into the sea. Not so much as one of them remained. There's no shadow of doubt for them that the Pharaoh and the troops were wiped out. Right? I think this is what I highlighted here. The Quran forests the Pharaoh's death, Surah 10, 90 and 22. And the popular tradition has it that Pharaoh, who was drowned with his army, who was drowned, remember Judah said he was in drowned, with his army, an event which didn't make sense and shit, that his body was filled with salt water and he was preserved. That was stupid. And an event which is not mentioned in the holy text, lives beneath the ocean where he rules over the men of the sea. Right? They say that he's still down there. It is obvious that the uninformed reader of the Quran is bound. Okay, this is getting into it. It establishes a connection between the statement and in it, which is for the commentator, contradicts the biblical text, and this absurd legend, which comes from the so-called popular tradition mentioned in the commentary after the reference to the Quran. The real meaning of the statement in the Quran on this has nothing to do with what the commentator suggests. Verses 90 and 92, Surah 10, inform us that the children of Israel crossed the sea while Pharaoh and his troops were pursuing them, and that was only when Pharaoh was about to be drowned that he cried. I believe that he was about to be drowned, that I believe there is no God except the God in which the children of Israel believe. I am of those who submit themselves to him. God replied, what now? Thou hast rebelled and caused depravity. This day we save thee in thy body, so that it may be a sign for those who will come after thee. This is all that the sermon contains on the death of Pharaoh's death. But on the Pharaoh's death. There's no question of the phantasm recorded by the biblical commentator either here or anywhere else in the Quran. The text of the Quran merely states that clearly that Pharaoh's body will be saved. That is an important piece of information. Yep, this is Judah talking about here, right? Now, Judah doesn't even know what he's talking about. See, now, the man goes in to say that, okay, let me just read it. When the Quran was transmitted to man by the prophet, the bodies of all the pharaohs who are today considered, rightly or wrongly, to have something to do with the Exodus were in the tombs of the Necropolis of Thebes, on the opposite side of the Nile of Luxor. At the time, however, absolutely nothing is known of this fact, that it was not until the end of the 19th century that they were discovered. As the Quran states, the body of the pharaoh of the Exodus was in fact rescued, whichever the pharaoh it was, right? Visitors may see him in the Royal Mummies Room of the Egyptian Museum, Cairo. The truth is therefore very different from the ludicrous legend that Father Courier has attached to the Quran, right? That was it, right? Right? The mummies bought the mummified by, no, this is from Nefertiti, right? So that's it on that. That's it on that, right? So we can go back to this. And we're going to finish listening to what Judah says. Now, I'm going to say real quick, Judah says that the body was recovered, right? And the body was filled with salt, which caused him not to be mummified. And that his body was preserved from the salt, right? Now, we can tear this shit up, right? Let's hear him talk some more. You know, the more he talks, the more you see. But listen very closely. You have to listen to Judah Nazareth. You can go to any one of his videos and go off of what I'm telling you, and you would see it clear as day. Judah Nazareth has a spell on you. He has a spell on his followers. You got people like SOJ, absolutely fucking nuts, talking about the other day. Well, I just want to pay the Howard. And what kind of guy is this Alfred man? He just sit there all day on a computer and do commentary on people's videos. Alfred man's on his way to being a biochemist. He's also a veteran combat medic. What do you do, nigga? Just to let you know, Judah says, what the fuck does SOJ do? Those motherfuckers stock milk in the store. That's fact. I got the receipts on that. But let's move on.
But now he's in a museum. But he didn't die a natural death and they put him in a sarcophagus and this, that, and the other. No.
You hear that? They didn't put him in a sarcophagus. Right? He didn't die and put him in a coffin, right? That's what Judah Nazareth says. We're going to see.
Museum with saltwater in his body, was still preserved. He's not a mummy.
Hear that? Let's go. Check it out. Ancient Egyptian burials was Rameses II and Nefertiti. Ramses' embalming process. Rameses II was a grand and worshiped pharaoh whose people wanted to make sure y'all can see this on the screen. Yes, you can. Okay. A little man talking? Nah, a little man ain't talking. I gotta make him talk. He gonna kill a bee. I'm talking now. Alright, here we go. Pharaohs whose people of Egypt wanted to make sure his soul would live for eternity in the other world. To ensure Pharaoh's safe journey, his body was embalmed or mummified. First, the brain was removed using a long hook that was inserted through his nasal cavity, right? After now, if you don't want to go on to say if Kepher, Kepher, whatever that dude's name was, his first son, right? They don't take, they broke open his head to take out his brain. No, that's not how they did it, right? They pulled your brain out through the nasal cavity. All right, but anyway, let's go. After the brain was completely removed, they filled his nasal cavity with peppercorns, seeds, and even small animal bones to retain the unique structure of Rameses II's nose. This is said to have been an unusual process because few mummies show evidence of this kind of treatment. It explains now, with Michael Edwards, this explains why the man's nose looked like that, as you can see in this picture. Because Michael Edwards did a video saying Ramses II was white man, right? Now, we're going to get into it, and some of the stuff I've done in other videos, if y'all been paying attention. But let me finish with it. All right. It's said to have an unusual process with few mummies show evidence not true. It explains why Rameses II mummy was one of the few of such distinctive profile. The majority of mummy noses are flattened by the tight wrappings around their face. But the filling in Ramses II's nasal cavity protected it from such destruction. So he was wrapped in the mummy cloth. Right? You would say he ain't no mummy. The embalmers then individually wrapped his toes, fingers, arms, legs, which show fine attention to detail and precision. Once every part of his body was wrapped, they placed the Book of the Dead between his hands. This is a collection of ancient Egyptian funerary texts from various periods, right? Meaning prayers, magical performance, and such and such, right? More linen strips were wrapped around the body. And then he was enveloped in a second layer that was soaked in resin and sweet-smelling oils that help preserve the skin, right? Help preserve the skin. Now, they said the skin afterwards. It helped preserve the skin. Now, Judas said that his body was preserved by the salt water from when he drowned. But then he said he didn't drown, but then he said he drowned. Okay. Amulets were placed in between the linen layers that they were said to protect his body on the way to the underworld. Finally, Ramses II's body was draped in white cloth, and embalmers carefully painted an image of Osiris, the Egyptian god of the underworld, on the outside of the wrappings as his finishing touch. Although embalmers are thought to have taken great caution with his body during the mummification, some researchers believe there's evidence of carelessness, right? Embalmers had allegedly removed Ramses II's heart by accident, which is the main holder of intelligence of an individual, and is crucial in the journey into the underworld. To correct this mistake, they had to sew the organ back inside the body. Radiographs of the body thousands of years later also showed evidence of the post-mortem fracture on his cervical spine. Researchers believe that this was purposeful structure to straighten out the neck before the embalming process, right? Okay. But could have also been an accidental break while the body was being prepared, right? Boom. So we read that. The man was mummified. We see the picture of him mummified, right? Now, we can get to this. Is it true that they found a trace of sea salt participated inside Ramses II mummy, right? Yes, but the final report, this is Mr. Hamid and shit that works for, was a customer relationship manager at Honda, right? But the final report was not disclosed in any media. This is in fact proof. Maurice, this is the guy's name that wrote that book. Maurice Basilis or some shit was heading the greatest French archaeologist and animal scientist in order to know more about the mummies of Ramses. Scientists were trying to restore the mummy, while Professor Maurice was mainly concerned on how the mummy died. How did this mummy die? The final report but the scientists was released late night, which stated that the remaining salt in the mummy is overt evidence that it was drawn in the sea. But they say they ain't pick him up out of there, right? Now, if his body's filled with salt water, right, and he drowned, how else he gonna get out the fucking water, right? He was drawn in the sea, and the body was rescued very shortly, where it was seemingly embalmed to be saved. Where it was immediately embalmed to be saved, right? See, this the nigga here wrapped up in a mummy. Of course, they took the shit off, right? And that's some new shit they put on. But those are the old wrappings and stuff still around his fingers and shit, right? Now, we can get to this guy, Mr. Chris Charman, B.A. Archaeology of the Ancient Near East in Ancient Egypt, University of California, Berkeley. Almost certainly not. The first thing to keep in mind is that mummification process involves packing the body with natron. Now, when the video I did on Michael Edwards with his mummy with the blonde hair, I'm saying, I stated that the resins and the natron and stuff basically processed the mummy's hair. It could have changed the color of the mummy's hair. Also, brothers that braid their hair, cornrows and stuff, your hair gets straight. When you want to take those braids out, your hair is straight. You can wave your hair around and shit like white people and shit. Right? Now, I don't want to do this here, but y'all can go look at other mummies' hair, and you will see it also, right? Natron, a natural mineral salt. So, of course, there might be salt participate found in the mummy. Duh! The other thing to keep in mind is that there is essentially no archaeological evidence for any of the events in Exodus. In fact, the only ancient Egyptian reference to Israel comes from Menephtah Stele, where the pharaoh boasts Israel is laid waste, not his seed is not, right? Now, we already went into about that Stele and shit, what that shit was all about, right? Now, natron. When you deal with natron is a salt. I know a little bit about taxidermy and shit like that. Natron was the thing that they would use also, say like people that like hunt wolves and stuff and coyotes for their furs. And sometimes you get more money for having the whole skin intact. Like all the way down to the paws, the lips, the mouth, the nose, all of that, right? Now, when you skin the animal, you have the ears that you're going to skin. Also, they're all going to be part of that skin. Now, the drying process is when you have to stretch this skin and tack it to a board and let it dry. Now, it's tacked to the board so it keeps its shape. Like, it keeps its actual size. So it won't be that much shrinkage when the skin dries. Now, when you got ears, you can't stretch the ears. You can't stretch the paws, right? And the lip and stuff. So what you would do, you would put natron in the ears of the animal, in the paw areas of the animal, and stuff it with like a newspaper or whatever to give it its natural shape. And the natron, what the natron does is dry the skin out, right? Natron is also used in preserving meats also, right? Now, this is something real quick. Now, if this pharaoh body was quickly gotten out of the water, there is no way. Now, listen. Salt water, right? He said his stomach was filled with salt water, but it ain't, right? The sea of reeds, right? We're gonna learn something today. We're gonna learn some science shit today, goddammit, right? So when say like you're brining a turkey or ham or some shit, you use a natron, or they use natron with corned beef, right? Now this is a certain process. Now usually how it goes is like every half inch is a day. So every day goes by, you have to keep that body part or animal in that brine for a certain amount of time for it to preserve the meat, right? usually the rule goes is like every half inch is for like every day that you have to keep it in. Right? Now, this is a high concentration of salt. Higher than the salt that you will find in the ocean or the sea, right? A high concentration. Now, I'll have to show that. Okay. Now, Judah, wait, let me place a little bit more of this.
Just like the Quran, even in our Muslim, the Quran says that this is going to happen, and it did. So now we got Chris being like, well, he's like kind of agreeing the Exodus did happen now. But wait a minute, you just said it was fake. So people are like,
when did Chris Harris say that? Now you see how Judah's saying that the Quran saying that the body was being preserved as saying the people could be able to see it. But because the pharaohs cried out to God as he was drowning. But the nigga died. Right? Still, right? Now, Judah said that the nigga didn't drown. So now, if the body was preserved with salt, how can salt consume the inside of your body and preserve you and you live, right? That's more stupid ass shit. Now, with this body, now the Quran states that it will be preserved. So Judah's saying that preserving was it being showed in museums and shit, right? So is a whole bunch of other mummies. Did they cry out to God too? Dummy. Now, we can still debunk what he's talking about. So,
double-minded flip-flop. Which one is it? Is it true or is it not true? Well, it's not. It's this one. Well, wait a minute. Is the Exodus fake or not?
Yes, it is.
You know what I'm saying? But is the Bible fake or not? Pick a side. So I think the dudes only go with something to make themselves relevant, not to like enlighten the people. My job is to try to enlighten the people on things, not to.
We about to see how much enlightening you is.
Boy, be an internet, YouTube personality. I'm not trying to do that.
So for them opportunities right there like that, what you just said, Judah, for those that don't qualify for a debate, if you're a manager over here, just come teach a lesson.
Well, I kind of like Trump out of the league.
He won't do that. Whoa. We got to back this up. Now, we done told y'all what Judah is going to do. What did I say? I said I said give it 3 weeks. Go check my video, see if I'm lying. And one of my Apollo videos in the beginning, I mentioned, right? He gonna leave like he did the last time. And he did the time before that, and the time before that. He gonna leave. Right? Let me back this up. Y'all gotta hear this.
Over here, just come teach a lesson.
Well, I kind of like Trump out of the league, so I don't know if I.
See? He dropped out of the league. He said, well, I can do that, right? See that low voice? Well, I can do that. Well, I'm dropping out of the league. He know he can't do no lesson on Solar Vision Debate League, because we'll tear that nigga up on that shit live. There ain't no way in hell he can do that shit. Right? And he knows this. And you see, what he does now, he got Nagy over here, because you know nobody's going to give Nagy a fair shot, right? Shout out to Nagy and shit. Nagy be keeping it 100. No matter how much we expose his ass and shit or whatever, that's Nagy's business. But Nagy be keep that shit 100 with me. Right? I asked Nagy some shit, Nagy didn't tell me the fucking truth. Like, nigga, that nigga full of shit. I don't know, nigga. That nigga's silly, right? He'll tell me. Right? So, where I'm going, right? He made Nagy join because they know they're not going to give Nagy a fair shot. So when Nagy doesn't get the fair shot, that's opportunity for him making an uproar and calling Solar Vision Debate League a bunch of Masons and booty bandits and all types of other crazy shit, like he always does. And I asked Judah before I left, before we put his ass out, right? I said, Judah, why do you want us to go over there to Solar Vision Debate League? And 3 days later, your ass is going to tell us not to go over there. And then 3 days after that, you're going to say, oh, Solar Mind's my boy, man. He's a cool brother, man. Yeah, man. He's my brother, man. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Right? And then a week later, they're fucking Masons. The goddamn agents. The agents. So why are you hanging out with agents? Why do you want to be on an agent's platform? You called Alazar an agent, but then you say Alazar is your brother. You call Alazar doing Masonic hand signs. When you call Alazar your brother, and he cool, y'all cool, right? Make up your mind. And this is Judah setting the stage for his dismount out of the league, not to debate Chris Harris. Listen.
Because if there's no order, I'm used to like some form of order and structure. But then I helped build up the league with Orthodox more, trying to help Salomon before a lot of people came over here.
Okay, so you used to order and all that shit, and you helped Solomon create the debate league. Why didn't it have order in the beginning then? Nigga?
There was order and structure. Certain people began to leave when they began to realize that the order and structure was kind of off. You know what I'm saying? Like, people started unsubscribing to things or whatever. So I'm like, well, there's good people over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me...
Everybody remember that video. Solomon is a booty house bandit agent. He's part of the Boule and all this other shit.
Seeing people like leading people astray and taking them out of the Bible, but then giving them nothing. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Nigga, fuck taking you out of the Bible. I'm about to take your ass out of this atmosphere and shit with this video.
Let me see, like, what are these dudes working for? Let me get back in the league. So how did his body get salt water on it?
Time Kofi.
See, Kofi said, how did the body get salt water in it if he didn't die in the water? See? Judah Nazareth said that he didn't drown, so how the fuck he get salt water in his body?
Said something, I'm gonna just put it up here so that you know what I'm saying? Because look, over here, or at least me, I try to deal with the people as much as I could. So if somebody in the chat say something, I let them know, like, they like, because a lot of people think that they too big to deal with, like the people that watch their videos and shit. And I'm like, nigga, those are the people who make you, nigga.
Right.
They can break you. So you disrespect them, you might as well get off of social media, nigga. So, I deal with it, yeah.
But his question is not even intelligent. How did his body get salt water if he didn't die in the water? He did die in the water. That's what we're telling you. Well, these dudes don't be listening. They like be half listening, and then they act like they're asking a smart question. Rameses II got drowned. How else would salt water get into your body? But they didn't find him on the bottom.
See, now he said that he didn't drown, right? Now he's saying he drowned. Make up your mind, Judah. Listen.
Of the thing, he got pulled out, and his body was preserved. They put him in the Valley of the Kings.
So let me ask you a question, Judah. So you're saying that they're always debating about who is the king during the Exodus. You're saying it's Rameses?
All right, let me stop right there. I'm going to go over a couple more things real quick with y'all. My notes together here. And I'm going through this, like, I already looked this shit, but I don't got time to be fucking finding all these, like, so y'all can go check this shit out yourself. So, check this out. We can learn a little bit more about natron real quick. Ancient mummies were created partly in covering the body with natron, salt to silicate the tissue. Natron is very different from table salt or sea salt. It is easy to distinguish them chemically. There's a story the mummy of Rameses was found to have salt in it, and how this is the proof that the story of the Bible is correct. The pharaoh drowned while pursuing the Jews over the Red Sea, and therefore the Bible, in this case, is general. far for that, right? The article cites certain artists conduct research to make a scientific fact, blah 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 blah, right? Article often cites certain scientists who conducted the research to make it a scientific fact, but they never mention the source. See? Now they say this, but they never mention the source. My own brief search into the subject, digging through 0.5 petabytes of scientific papers, did not find such paper. And if we couple this information with the fact that the story is floating around, not on scientific web sources, but on alternative or religious ones, we might conclude that it is highly likely that this story, in fact, is not true. Right? Okay, that was it on that one. And boom, here's another one here. They go to mummy. Let me see if I highlighted my part. Oh, we got it here. Let's see. I forgot what I had in this page right here. Let me see here. Give me 1 second here. I don't know what I had that sitting there for. Okay, now. Okay, we can get to that. That's later. Yup, this Amir Jeffrey, whatever the fuck his name is, right? How he died. Okay. See, among artifacts found in the tomb were canopic jars labeled with Amun-Her Ketchef's name and containing organs. Also found were bones from 4 males, including the skull with a deep fracture, believed to have been made with a mace. Right? Picture filed Rameses II. Wait, possibly. Okay. So, that's we basically already done over that. Okay. Here's a nigga goddamn coffin. The nigga sitting in the goddamn coffin, nigga. That might not be him. That's not him. That's not him. I'm sorry. But I got the as you can see here, where his neck is bandaged up here. You see this image here. What I want to know is how they show him with blonde hair, and then they have other pictures with him with black hair. I find that very strange. Right? All right. That's not needed. We can get to that. Definitely gonna get to that. I'll leave that there for that. I wanted to see. Okay. Did Ramses drown in the Red Sea? Right? I mean, we can get into that. We're gonna play a little bit.
The general, I'm never gonna. Okay, I'm not being racist when I say this, but I don't trust the white man's every word. That's just me, right? But the general consensus is that it's Rameses II.
And
So,
that's why you say he's underwater because of what happened with the Red Sea.
well, it's like the Sea of Reeds, but yeah.
Notice he said the Sea of Reeds. Now, keep that in mind. The Sea of Reeds, not the Red Sea. You remember the Saltwater now.
The Red Sea that was made, the Sea of what?
The Sea of Reeds. The Torah called it Yam Sawab. It's like the Sea of Reeds.
The Sea of Reeds, and now, so why do I think the Red Sea?
People, it's like people say the word Hebrew. But, yeah, they just translate it wrong.
Yeah. So certain shit I don't deal with. because I yeah, but yeah, go ahead. My bad.
No, just go ahead, bro.
No, I was just saying that that these are part of the reasons why I trim my doctrine down, because it's a lot of
you trim your doctrine down,
things concerning major issues in the Bible that people make a argument over.
Make sure y'all hit that like,
that's
share.
Not why.
Make sure y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button for your boy.
Like in a sense, that's not why I start speaking on the Bible and be like, well, I can prove that the Bible is real because I can prove this in the Exodus. That's not me. Now, if that's somebody else's lot, then that's on them. But I'm here for a different reason. You know what I'm saying? As far as the thing that I speak on. But yeah, I heard of that. But then when you go to the Red Sea, the deepest part of when they say when Moses split the Red Sea or the Red Sea, basically all he did was wait till a time of the year where the Israelites can cross and can cross, and so basically it wasn't like Moses had some magic power. It was just that he knew knowledge of when the sea was only like say ankle deep, some shit like that. That's how.
Now, how could a nigga drown in ankle deep water?
And so, like, even if you take their narrative, it knocks out all the
supernatural.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they did the same thing with Sodom and Gomorrah, right? They found Sodom and Gomorrah. Now we know clearly what happened to it, but they're like, yeah, a meteorite hit it. It's like, come on, man. Like you just have to like spin the narrative to like bring out, to disqualify the Bible every time, right? Like that's just what Esau does. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
nah, the meteorite hit it, there would be a fucking crater. But anyway, that might be about
does it. Now see that meteorite, the meteorite aspect, from what they say, can actually work to a biblical advantage because they say that the stuff in the meteorites is like the most.
All right, I think that's it on that video there. Okay, now we can get a little bit more deeper into this now, right? Back to my screen share here. Did Rameses drown in the Red Sea? Right? Rameses II lived to about the age of 90. Was pharaoh for the... Wait, hold on a second. Right? He wasn't put in a coffin. Remember? Remember that? Ramsey wasn't put in a coffin. But we could go here. Ramses was buried in a coffin. It wasn't elaborate, but he buried in a coffin. Right? Let me see if I get the picture of it. See it here? See the coffin? Judah Nazareth, you're a fucking fool, dude. Rameses' coffin, look. Right? See? Alright. I don't need to do that anymore. This is the same shit. Do that. See? Ramses' sarcophagus was a simple coffin made of wood. Why such a modest coffin for a modest pharaoh? The secret is revealed in the premiere broadcast of museum series. It doesn't really go on about it. Like that. Now, if he drowned, right, or the nigga lived with a whole belly full of fucking salt water, and he was preserved. So that means the nigga's still alive, sitting up in the museum and shit, right? Because he was preserved, whatever that's supposed to mean, right? So I want to kind of, and I'm basically done with the video now, but no, I'm not done. I'm not done. But I want to show you how stupid this drowning and being preserved by salt is, right? Now, the Sea of Reeds, you have to learn something about I forgot about that Chariot fucking shit. Alright, we already know that, right? Judah admitted it was Ramses, right? Now, that's some other dumbass shit. I'm about to get on fucking the pause dumbass and shit. Bullshit right after this video. I'm going to work on that one, right? Now, Judah says that the translation is misused. And that is actually the Red Sea, right? Now, a reed is papyrus. This is where the Egyptians got, well, not there, but other places probably. But that's probably one of the places they would go. Reeds only grow in fresh water or brackish, right? Now, when you might ask what brackish is. Brackish water is usually in an area where salt water and fresh water meet. But say like a marsh area, right? Like if you're on, like I live on Long Island Sound, right? Now, you have all these rivers, streams, and stuff coming in there, coming into the Sound from all through Connecticut and shit, right? Now, the water is going to have a little salt in it, right? Like you can go fishing in the river and catch striped bass, right? Because the stripers will go upstream to the point where, like, know what I'm saying, where they can still kind of manage without that salt and shit, right? But the saltwater, the freshwater fish can't venture out into that really salty ass water because they'll die, right? The same thing is with the reeds or with papyri. They can uphold very little salt, and it's usually a time when that salt comes in there and then quickly leaves, right? So it stresses out the plant. Now, if you have a place called the Sea of Reeds, right? And what we know today is the Sea of Reeds being, let's see if I got it. The Sea of Reeds are the meaning that Drew's theory, the Red Sea or Sea of Reeds of Exodus was actually Lake Tanis, right? As far as we know. The lake was a shallow, brackish lagoon. And that was the ideal place for these papyri reeds to grow, right? Now, Tannin is up in this, above this region here, right? Let me see if I had a trouble finding a really good map of it. You see here, I might be covering it. Yeah, I'm covering it up. Right up top. Still really can't see that shit. See Tanis up here? See these rivers? So where they came was across here. They went through little bodies of water. Now there will be very little salt in these areas. See, like these lakes right here. It said Lake Timsah, or see, this is Tanis right here, right next to underneath Zone. Right, and I guess this is where Rameses was in. Now, it's got the bitter lakes and stuff. See, when you got water coming from the sea, with the little streams and rivers, it might come up in there. Like, know what I mean? But it's not a high concentration. And like I said, when you're using natron or salt to cure meats, and stuff like that, you need a high concentration of salt to do this, right? So anything like brackish water and the body being recovered quickly right afterwards, if it was a Red Sea and it was like a swamp area, the body would be recovered pretty quick. Now, if it was near a body of water where the salt could come into the fresh, right, where it meets the reeds and shit, right, that means there's a current. So if that wall, if there was a wall of water opening up and it closed up, that means there'll be a huge surge in the water and will wash that body away. And then most likely they wouldn't find that body in a day or two or more. Right? And it definitely wouldn't be enough time to basically preserve, which it wouldn't happen anyway. It wouldn't happen anyway. Right? And don't forget, this man is 96 fucking years old, right? The record states from his body that he died of arthritis. So this whole thing that Judah comes up with is complete foolishness. I know I try to drink enough tea here and stuff, but my throat is dry as fuck and I'm tired of talking. I know I've been on here probably an hour and a half or something, maybe more. But kind of winding down now. But yeah, I just want to just whiz through this last like couple things here. Some people say it's the Gulf of Suez, right? Which is farther down. See? It's an inlet, like a lagoon. That was some people are saying. There's really no evidence. Nobody's really rocking with that idea. But it's there. Right? Now. Red Sea. See, you need all types of citations and stuff to the site. Okay. The biblical book. Covering it up. Yep. That's right. I move over Killah D. Okay. The biblical book of Exodus tells the account of the Israelites crossing the body of water, which the Hebrew text calls Yam Suf, right? Yam Suf was traditionally identified as the Red Sea. Rabbi Sadai Gayan, 82:9-42, in his Judeo-Arabic translation of the Pentateuch, identified a crossing place of the Red Sea as Bahar Quazum, meaning Gulf of Suez, right? So now they're saying it was the Gulf of Suez. Right? Now, that's all I need from this. I believe that's all I need from this. Yeah, I guess that's it for right there. Okay. And close that up. Oh shit. Is that a double thing or not? Coming for you, Napa. Coming for you. Now, for people that want to say it was a Red Sea, now, right? Claims that archaeologists discovered Pharaoh's chariot and the bones of horses and men under the Red Sea stem from fake news, right? This is very important because you know the Hebrew Israelites will say, well, it was the Red Sea then. It wasn't a goddamn Red Sea. It was the Red Sea, right? Archaeologists have discovered Pharaoh's chariot and bones, horses under the Red Sea. False. Now, here goes the origin. On the 24th of October, 2014, the website World News Daily Report, which Mr. Black Jesus Minister loves to go through and get his biblical facts, published an article reporting that the chariot wheels and the bones of horses and men have been discovered at the bottom of the Red Sea, thereby supposedly proving archaeological proof of the biblical narrative that the escape of the Israelites from the Egyptians. According to the book of Exodus, God parted the Red Sea long enough for Moses led Israelites to walk across it on dry ground, but closed the waters up again upon the pursuing Egyptian army and drowned them all. Right? Egypt's Antiquities Ministry announced this morning that a team of underwater archaeologists have discovered the remains of a large Egyptian army from the 14th century BC at the bottom of the Gulf of Suez, right? 1.5 kilometers offshore from the modern city of Ras Gharib. The team was searching for the remains of ancient ships and artifacts related to Stone Age and Bronze Age trade in the Red Sea area, when they stumbled upon a gigantic mass of human bones darkened by age. The scientists led by now why it wasn't preserved because it was in salt water. The scientists led by Professor Adab Mumar Gadar and the associate. Wait, hold on before I go farther. If the body was filled up with salt water, right? Now it would have to get in from somewhere. If it came in through the mouth, where did it go? Through the esophagus into the stomach. If it came to the ass, would it go the same way, the opposite way? Right? The nose, it will go in the lungs. Right? It will go right in the esophagus. The ears, I'm not sure where it will go. I don't know if your ears doesn't have a hole and shit that goes like this, empties out into your body. So when they mummify the body, they take out the organs. Right? So that's the first thing they do is take out the organs, they treat it with natron, and the body is sat there for at least 40 days for it to completely preserve. Right? Now, if that's the case, now you see the natron taking 40 days. Now if it's in salt water for a couple of days, and but they say they quickly took him out. Right? So that means his body wasn't preserved. Plus, there wouldn't be any water in the actual cavity of the body. Now, if it's treated with natron, the water has been taken out. You think they would leave that salt water up in that nigga? No. All right, let's read on. College University, particularly archaeology, have already recovered a total of more than 400 different skeletons, as well as 100 weapons and pieces of armor. Also, the remains of 2 war chariots scattered over the area, approximately 200 square meters. They estimate that more than 5,000 other bodies could be dispersed over the wider area, suggesting that an army of large size would have perished in the site. Right? Got these Israelites going crazy now. Right? However, if one is looking for news in the important scientific or historical discovery, World News Daily reports it is not the place to look. The WNDR is fake news site whose disclaimer notes that the site article are satirical in nature. World News Daily Report is a news and political satire web publication which may or may not use real names, often in semi-real or mostly fictitious ways. All news articles contained within the World News Daily Report.com are fiction and presumably fake news. Any resemblance to the truth is purely coincidental, except for all references to politicians or celebrities, in which case they are based on real people, but still have almost entirely in fiction. Just like Black Jesus Minister says, Noah's Ark found in Turkey. And he says that UNESCO is going to make that a historical biblical site, and Turkey is already declared it and shit. That's bullshit. Because when you go to Smithsonian and you go to UNESCO, they already researched the facts. And neither the Turkish government or UNESCO has ever said they received anything from this council of people that said that's Noah's Ark. And neither do they want to make it a historical site, biblical site, right? Despite NDR's, I read all that, yep. Despite WNDR's framing of the alleged discovery as recent and newly announced reports of divers finding chariot wheels and like other Red Sea are a hoax that has been proclamated for many years now. The WNDR article use of language such as "this morning," it claims that were a team of underwater archaeologists in Egypt responsible for the discovery. We're planning to recover more artifacts from the site's reinvigorated interest in the long discredited rumor. But those details are not only fabricated, they have simply been recycled from past claims and fused with more recent dates. The October 2015. The equally dubious website Disclosed.tv once again jump-started the phony rumors by republishing the year-old fake WNDR article. That's it on that. Right? You see this shit all the time. Right? There's another thing on there. Invasive reeds and salt marshes, right? It's talking about the argument, it's talking about a certain reed, right? It's talking about New England, where I would say, hey, fucking Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maine, and all that shit, right? Does so well in crowds of native plants that once served as food in homes for marsh animals. Once Pharagamites has invaded, it's sometimes the only plant species left. Now, this is an invasive reed, right? In Northeast America. Pharagamites does best where humans have disturbed the marsh, and scientists were curious why that might be. They thought that perhaps when a marsh is disturbed, the salinity or the amount of salt in the water changes. This plant might be able to survive after disturbances that cause the amount of salt in the water to drop, but becomes stressed when salinity is high. Right? So this basically going through fresh water in the marsh flows. All right, let's talk about some marsh. Okay, let's explain it a little bit. Fresh water in the marsh flows from the upstream source to downstream. Salt marshes end at the ocean, where fresh water mixes with salty ocean water. One type of disturbance is when the road is cut through a marsh. Upstream of the road in the marsh is cut off from the salt waters from the ocean. So only fresh water will enter, and salinity will drop. Downstream of the road, the marsh is still connected to the ocean, and salinity should be unaffected by the disturbance. Right? But that's kind of going off topic. But okay, now this is more talking about the reeds. Reed plant. Let's see what I gathered. See, dried reed stems have been used for millennia for thatching, construction baskets, arrows, pens. On that. That one. Okay. Red Sea or Reed Sea? My question in relation to Exodus. There is talk that the Bible translators mistranslated Red Sea and they should read the Reed Sea. Is this true? And if so, why was that? Why didn't the translators read Reed Sea? I know, of course, that the translation or mistranslation does not change the fact that God's hand was at work and that through the miracle his glory was shown at all. Okay. I'll try to make this simple. The translation Reed Sea is given as an alternate to the Red Sea in many study Bible footnotes from the Hebrew Yam Suf. Since reeds only grow in fresh water, scholars have looked for centuries for freshwater lakes the Israelites could have crossed, and of course none exist. But some more accurate translation of the Hebrew word would be seaweed, and of course this grows in salt water. See, this is the other edge to it, right? So the Hebrew phrase Yam Suf really doesn't mean Reed Sea, or Red Sea or Reed Sea. It means sea of seaweed. The name Red Sea probably stemmed from its proximity to Edom, the land occupied by the descendants of Esau, whose name Hebrew means red, right? Check this out, though. Interesting. Kings 9:26. We have a location that can be identified today to make it simple for us to tell that the Red Sea is where the Red Sea is located. It was part of where King Solomon built and maintained a fleet of merchant ships. It was called Elzon Gabor, and you can still see its remains today near the resort city of Eilat in the northern end of the Gulf of Aqaba on the Red Sea. Some have also suggested that since there is no vowels in Hebrew, Yam Suf should be rendered Yam Suf, or sea of land, land's end. Judah, I thought you knew Hebrew, right? There is persuasive evidence that the Israelites crossed from Egypt into the Midian by traversing Jackson's Reef, an underwater land bridge at the southern entrance of the Red Sea, near the place where today is called Land's End. Right? So still, you're going to have to find some bodies in that water, or some chariots in that water, or some horse bones, or some swords, some arrows, some spears, all in one spot. Because I doubt that the current is going to take some goddamn chariots and shit down the goddamn fucking river. And horses and bodies, after being in the water a while, they float, right? Now, just like when the man said they found the shit in the bottom of the Red Sea, all the horses and the men and all that shit, that's bullshit. Because bodies will fucking float and drift off some fucking place, right? Or be on the edge of the water. Just like when you find someone's getting murdered and thrown in the river or the fucking ocean or some bullshit, they don't pop up where they threw them in there at. No, they pop up sometimes in another goddamn state. And they blow up like a goddamn balloon, right? Not from water, but from the gas that's in their body. I just recently know someone that had passed away. They were in their house for 2 weeks, and their body actually burst open from the gas that built up in it, right? Let's deal with that. Suez Canal, we already did that, right? Coffin, we already did that shit. Rameses is drowned in the Red Sea, right? Ramses lived about the age of 90, was pharaoh about 67 years, had dozens of sons, estimated to be around 57. Judah says 13. He was probably the single most successful and powerful pharaoh ever to rule Egypt. He had many conquests, made Egypt the richest country of his time. Its prolific builder, he left his mark in the monuments and temples which are still standing today. He did not build a temple. He was buried in, he did not build a pyramid, I'm sorry. He was buried in the Valley of the Kings. He was a pharaoh described in the biblical Exodus as generally accepted, but not completely. There is no Egyptian documentary of mass exodus of the major part of Egypt's workforce, nor of the supposed miracles mentioned in the Bible. Various plagues mentioned in the Bible have also been tentatively attributed to volcanic activity, possibly the eruption of Thera, a modern-day Santorini, which was powerful enough to have probably been felt in Egypt. But the dates of the eruption don't necessarily align with Ramses' reign. Additionally, the story of the Red Sea may have been mistranslated from the Red Sea in the biblical, which makes an Exodus a little less epic. In fact, various plagues mentioned in the Bible have often been tentatively attributed volcanic activity, possibly eruption or earthquake. The fact that much of the existence of the Exodus story is, I'm getting tired. Story is considered dubious at best by a number of authorities. It may be that a small group of Jews left Egypt at some point in under adverse conditions, finding their way over a few years of eventually integrated into the general population. But telling the story will evolve into one that we know today. The story serves a purpose, regardless of it affected, and that it effectively provides a common history for all Jews, making them one people no matter where they are. Okay, whatever. Okay, now. See, the evidence of the mummy is that he died around the age of 90, suffering from severe arthritis and hardening of the arteries. Nothing suggests drowning. There is no historical or archaeological evidence to connect them to the Exodus story. If you want to, you can hypothesize a cover-up. Obviously, he drowned according to the Bible. That couldn't have recovered his. They couldn't have recovered his body. So much have found another old. They must have found another old man and mummified his body to pretend it was the pharaoh. That flies in the face of all we know about Egyptian religious belief, but does it matter, right? His mummy is on display in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. It is clearly labeled by the priest who mummified it. Thought he wasn't mummified, Judah. It certainly wouldn't be in the condition. Now, I want y'all to go to the museum and y'all can see who mummified him, right? So just fact check me. I'm running through shit. This shit I already know. I'm just finding quick shit to read to y'all, so it just makes my time easier on this motherfucker. But make sure y'all fact check me, right? Okay, we got that motherfucker right here. And yeah, that's about it, y'all. That's about it. Let's see what else. I saw that shit where they could have went. It's there. Okay, with that, shit, Killah B gonna head on out of this motherfucker. God damn it, make sure y'all hit that like button. Share this with your friends. That's definitely the damn Hebrew Israelites out there. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And don't forget to hit that bell and select all. Okay. With that, heading my ass on out here. Once again, this is Killah B, the goddamn Witchfinder General. If your motherfucking ass got a witch, I goddamn sure gonna burn their motherfucking asses up. Right? With that, I'm up out of here.
Real step, I'm gonna put you on stage. All shit in this part.
Takes 14, goddammit, it takes 14.
Alright, let's take that. I'm trying to make my main right here. Do this for one more time.
I love that shit. Peace and Josh. Every time y'all hear this song, you know it's about to be some shit, goddamn. I gotta take my root on Judy Nazareth. Peace, y'all. Josh gonna ride y'all on out.
And your brightness, and your robots who appear in my likeness. All praise to his highness. Melt your King Midas, assemble troops like Titus. Holding the mic thus. All us is
we got that whole ass nigga running. Look at him run. Run to the red. Run. Run to the red. Run to the little monkey. Run. Run to the red.
Got time to shave you short. Oh, what a saving sport. Word into the dimension sport. Come find out why I'm TK. Telekinesis thesis reaches out in this way. The truth and the life in my sight. Build altars and view star light. Demolish altars who wanna fight. Then down before my lockers and die. You warned me.
Oh shit, 420, y'all. 420. Goddamn it. Just in time. Thanks.
Up before the heart, my degree is enterprise chart, enterprise like gleam off the sword. Set on fire, you're my Ali Lord. Sun Tzu gave me that, with run the map, over ravines, down the creek, horses and streams, Nordic meat, has a woolly coat. Saw jazz fight,
down the thorn road.
To me to drown and put some loose hope. I realize I'm sober, my self-known is a soldier. He told me he is the torch, smolder, and reap the field and do it backwards, that is. Reap the field and smolder the torches he told. Y'all crash like Steve the Queen, Elizabeth on your money team. Killer priests traverse dreams, sniper warnings of killer bees. Oh, about that situation, switching hand placement. Grandma since ancient, she gives thanks and tell you about Joseph. Told them to wait outside of this. Your ox gotta know about father business. Sharing as the big shelling herring. Cats didn't listen when I told them I prepare it. Roots of the swift chariot, Elisha marriage, chock full of despair. And when John returned, he dipped water and burned. My time frames at sharp corners. That stab box hit.
Yeah. I don't know why that ended abruptly, but it did.
Words are challenging. One of the gifts he was lavishing. Look at
oh, sorry about that. My Bluetooth.
She loves women on the tether cause she loves. Bless y'all who can make the journey. Barred and glowing, ask your attorney. Servants with broke heads on gurneys. Youth and priest males learning. Decided burning is elders churning. Then she give you a bit to taste. See how the hard work put a shine to your face. Far from the wrath of grapes. Or the farcy hate. Or the obscene face. End up in a mean G place. From heights view a major gift. Y'all more confused than fans of Taylor Swift. Time to time take a slip. Know how much you know when I'm found relaxed in a gondola bungalow. Sister bro, no.
I don't believe these people. They fronting on me after all the business I done gave them, man. You know what I'm saying?
Look, sneaker genius, we're over here trying to rehearse.
Rehearse? Don't you put a little rap in it like my man?
Time's at hand, exposed corpse from the sand. We ruled the land and it sprout great food. Nobody wants to lose, nor is it something you choose. But niggas be on Tom Cruise. Some black actors who promote bachelors, not even listening when I ask you. Take lessons from the older rap groups. My meditations rock the nations. Hurt your stomach like the smell of bacon. Out with a mason and shoot up they snakes. Seems too easy when you go astray. How much time do we have to wait? Pray before the hunger pains lead the way. Seeing Kanah burn his own face. That's what you get when you in this place. Duck-faced devils claim pyramids where octagons get inked like squid. Know where I live, where Pegasus is. Rest the mist when the bones break. Slow taste like butyr in case. Miss hate my blade break. Put you to the burning gate. Alive and well, living action do tell. Smooth as rails, especially when him we finish. My rhyme scheme is called Do Not Diminish. While youth remain timid, sandbar to sandlot. Football stars caught, more Zartan than dreadnought. Chains colored under warm water. Bathtubs, she used expensive scrubs for daughters. Catch you like the last pass. Snagged on grass, had to move fast in the face of a siren's blast. Yet sit here in this tab, round up mutants like Boulevard trash. Same date, do not crash. Munch you down like corned beef hash. Hurdlers weren't up to task. Ask share about math. Expect response craft. My understanding surpass. Faith in Yahweh. First to last. Expose heathens like Prince and Chapman. What up, Nat? You gotta get a hold of
Peace, y'all. Killah be the goddamn witch finder general. You got witch, I burn they motherfucking asses up. Peace.